Alright. As we load up and get ready to play this non-Yorian, non-aggro deck in Standard, I would like to remind everybody at home that the key to not being disappointed in life is low expectations. So, we've got some Grazers, we've got some Reefs and some Omnath, we've got some Planeswalkers. Does anybody, like, the last 3 months in general have felt like a lifetime? Do y'all remember Nissa Who Shakes the World? It's been a while, but do you remember when Nissa and Hydroid Krasis? Remember when these two cards were the thing we thought we hated? That's something. Alright, let's do it. We won 4 out of 5 matches with Mardu Knights. Let's see how we do with Cure Elementals. Darth Clyde Frog, thanks for the 5 months. Welcome back. They want some counter spells in the sideboard. I think you're thinking of Magic the Gathering. Hearthstone doesn't have counter spells. Yeah, standing desks are a huge quality of life improvement. If you are someone who is not a teenager and you use your computer constantly, I would highly recommend spending some of your hard-earned dollars on a standing desk. They are worth $200 to $1,000 to get one, depending on what you pick up. You can get cheaper manual ones that just sit on a normal desktop that are relatively cheap. The electronic ones get more expensive with motors in the legs, but they're definitely worth the money. Spend your money where you spend your time. Paying for things that are ergonomic is worthwhile. Okay, so I'm gonna go Grazer, put this land into play tapped, and then this will be untapped and we can cast Risen Reef. I actually don't have a standing desk recommendation. I've heard good things about Veridesk. I would recommend staying away from the Uplift brand. That's what I currently have. And my pre-pandemic plans were eventually replacing this one when we redid my new office space, but now we're just hanging out until it actually breaks. Hey, Top Toad, thank you for the very generous tier 3. Spend your money where you spend your time, he says. Thanks for the 22 months. I would highly recommend getting an anti-fatigue mat. They're definitely worth it. If you're going to be on your feet, you should. Anti-fatigue mat's great. The Uplift desks are some of the cheapest electronic desks you will find on the market, and they are one of the cheapest on the market for a reason. Can we just lead on Cavalier here? Thanks for the 26 months, Manitai. They appreciate that. Welcome back. So, I just have a small anti-fatigue mat, Dirty Digits. It's like about yay large. That's the size of like just my feet. So when I like sit down, I just kick it under my desk. And then when I stand up, when I stand up, I pull it out. I would assume rolling a chair over something like this would not be ideal for it, though, no? And maybe they've changed Strider Stone. My current office is also carpeted, but I use the fatigue mat on top of the carpet. My uplift desk is probably 3 years old at this point. I had to interact with their customer service because I'm an issue at 1.2, and that wasn't a great experience. It was one of the cheapest when I bought it, though. This powers up my elementals too, right? You get what you pay for unless you're buying Judd. Harsh but true. Harsh but true. Kaheera does buff the Nissa lands, yep. Okay, so these things are dealing double damage. What if I just chump block the bone? If I chump block the Bone Crusher Giant and they go block, they take 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, they're dead on the backswing. See, I'm gonna chump block this one. Wasn't Cav blocking the Phoenix free? Oh, yeah, you're right. It's not strictly free if they have a burn spell, right? So now they go block. They take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, they're still dead. Even with an extra blocker here. Right? They go block. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? Count that again. Block. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, yeah. Oh, it is first strike. Yep. Oh, are they gonna miss it too? That would be great. Yay! Opponent also being bad at math. Yay! Woo! Magic. All right, you know, Magic's a skill-intensive game. Neither player makes mistakes. Better player wins, etc., etc. Yeah, their initial blocks worked. They also forgot about how First Strike was going to interact with Kaheera. Listen, we take those here, chat. We take those here. Let me take those here. What are my last 2 cuts? Definitely want Gust and Scorching Dragonfire. It's probably just trimming some of my top end, right? Who's the worst among my 5 drops? Do I just like cut 2 Nissas? Is it crazy to cut 2 Nissas? You have to be at least a Twitch affiliate to have Twitch emotes, 30 digits. How much just got agent have we played against this morning? Actual 0. Sassaby, thanks for the quarter of a year. Maybe the key was we just had to flounder in platinum long enough, and then we had to flounder in platinum long enough, and then everybody playing the good decks wouldn't be in our bracket anymore. Maybe that was the key. Ah, Kaisen, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. Yeah, Space Martian. That deck, the Martyr deck seems like it'll be sweet once it gets some burial rates. Meet Wad, thanks for the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Well, our plan of doing nothing till turn 3 turned out to not be good. Turns out. Should have mulliganed. In it to win it, chat. In it to win it. Nut draw on the play. Has turn 1 Arboreal Grazer. Smells like a nut draw to me. Is Twin still caged? Of course Twin is still banned. Of course Twin is still banned. I mean, when everybody has the agreement to not play the good deck, I'm sure Standard's fine. Everybody like gets together is like, all right, no Jeskai Luca. Everybody put the Yorians aside, and we're just gonna play casual Magic together. Sometimes the Luca deck runs below average, Panicon. I agree. I actually think for a lot of decks, Luca into Ulamog will be more beatable than Luca into Agent of Treachery. If I'm being honest. You can buy a 5 terabyte external hard drive for $130. Yeah, they're cheap. Solid state memory is pretty cheap, too, punch-worthy. I picked up a TBM2 drive for my system here. Was it a terabyte? Did I pick up a terabyte or did I pick up a 500 gig? I actually don't remember now. It might have only been 500 gigs. Yeah, definitely cheaped out and only got a 500 gig. Oh, I think the TB drive was out of stock and I didn't want to wait. To the person I just timed out, if it was really easy to get under the Luca deck, the deck wouldn't be a problem. It's just, like, objectively not true. It's not really easy for the aggro decks to go under the deck playing Birth and Clarion and Shatter and Teferi and, like, all these other cards that just, like, are incidentally very good against aggro. I get that Magic's a high variance game, so the best deck in the format winning 70% of its matches means it still loses, you know, some amount of the time. So, like, if you play well and run good and they don't play well, you have a shot. Maybe I'm just supposed to gust this while it's on the stack. I get a little bit of trouble with some shocks here. And, like, again, if you're enjoying Standard and you're enjoying the Luca deck playing with or against it, more power to you. I'm not here to yuck your yum. But I'd also encourage you to have, like, a realistic understanding of, like, what's going on and how it works. No, I don't think that content's very good, Wilder Nicodle. In my experience, people are only interested in watching content of formats they can actually play. So banning cards kind of arbitrarily and making it so the format's different than what people actually play tends to make formats less exciting for people to both play and watch. Mr. T-Rex, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, we beat the Mono Reds. Turns out Arboreal Grazer's real good. Oh, it did 3 space. We're at 12. Trump is pushing the CDC not to reduce the number of deaths, but to reduce the number of deaths that the CDC counts. Yep. Yep, sure. Sure. Why? Sure. Yep. Yep. He does realize they've probably been underrepresenting the number of deaths, right? Or underreporting. He probably doesn't, if we're being honest. I had a 4 or 5 tweet thread this morning on Twitter addressing what I felt were the issues with Safranala's video. Funko, you can find it there. Because folks like you keep asking me what my opinion on it is. If he does know, he doesn't care. Accurate. We get Flame Swept here. So your opinion on right Twix versus left Twix? One of the set of stats that I saw, and this is, we're probably realistically not going to know how many people have died of COVID until years from now or later this year at a minimum. One of the trends that people need to track is comparing the number of deaths in total that happened in particular areas where outbreaks occurred year to year. Like, comparing the total number of deaths in New York in March and April of this year when the outbreak was occurring versus 2019, 2018, 2017. And then you match it with population growth, obviously, so it's proportional. But that'll give you an idea of if they're overcounting or undercounting it. And the numbers I saw implied that we're currently undercounting deaths related to COVID based on that. Based on comparing it to stats of number of deaths that have happened in previous years. All right, so what are they doing again? Probably Temur Reclamation. This is probably a Questing Beast matchup. We probably just want to be as aggressive as possible here. Trim some of these slower, clunkier cards. And actually, this is kind of aggressive. Fiend Artisan seems a little bit on the slow side. In care homes in England, is that 18,000? 18,000. There were 18,000 extra deaths this year versus last. 8,000 of them were confirmed as COVID, so there's 10,000 unaccounted for. Yeah, numbers like that. I don't have a source offhand. It was in my Twitter timeline. And yeah, it's looking, that's the type of thing if you want to look at mortality rate numbers and whether or not projections are under or overestimated. Those are the types of things you want to look at. The term is called excess mortality. Technical jargon. How was Knights? Exceeded expectations. I'm going to play it on Saturday. To set an incredibly low bar, I was not disappointed and disgusted after playing it for an hour. So I'm going to play it on Saturday. Did not vomit while playing, ship it. Yep. Yep, basically the TLDR. I really like the Godzilla alt arts. I hope it's something Wizards continues to explore. I think they're really sweet in general. What am I playing Saturday? Saturday is the MCQ for Magic Arena. Alright, since I was just gonna jam Nissa, but since we drew Dispute, I'm gonna hold up Dispute. I'm also making a point to play all my creatures pre-combat here, because if they get countered, I want to, have Fiend Artisan here. What deck am I playing? Mardu Knights. Hasbro does own Transformers. Smoke if you got him. Look at that, chat. Not a Jeskai Luca in sight, and we're winning matches of Magic. Feels amazing, man. Feels amazing. We're so far away from the Plat 4 rank floor, chat. We're so far away. Stone Coil Serpent. Alright, so probably blue-black mutate here. Aren't we favored against Jeskai Luca? Feels like we can go over the top of them. Can you explain what aspect of my deck you feel goes over the top of Agent of Treachery? Because I'm genuinely confused which aspect of my deck you feel goes over the top of Agent of Treachery. Much less Agent of Treachery getting blinked by Yorion and getting bounced by Teferi. The origin of There's Fear in This Dojo. That's a Karate Kid reference, right? I believe that's from the Karate Kid. Should I stick to that? And maybe Historic, seems like you're much happier to play Historic than I'm not a huge fan of this current standard format. I'm going to decline putting this into play, because we can cycle it out of our hand to get a non-land later, hopefully. Luca does not go over the top. All right, I'm gonna give. I just to let you know how I feel about the statement. Luca does not go over the top. Take a 10-minute break and think about what you just said. The Luca deck doesn't go over the top. Excuse me? That's my favorite. My favorite thing. Thank you to the mod that just fragged that person in chat. My favorite comments when I'm talking about the state of standard are people who are like, "Listen, Jeff, this deck is really good. It only has a bad fires matchup." And like, do you people not get that my deck is really good, but it has a bad fires matchup? the translation of that is your deck is garbage, but you're beating other garbage decks. That's what that means. That's the translation. The translation is Magic has an incredible amount of variance and has no good, clean, objective data for me to show you this. So when you tell me that this is what you're doing and I tell you that that means your deck is still garbage, you're like, but Jeff, you're wrong, and that's just your opinion, and I can't show you with data that you're wrong, so you get to be happy, and I get to be happy, and we both just think the other one's an idiot, right? That's, when people always ask, like, okay, Jeff, why does Wizards hide matchup data? That's why Wizards hides their data. They hide their data because the data not being public means nobody can form objective, consistent arguments. Guy Fury Ball, thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Like here, like I'm gonna be honest, I've genuinely had fun playing Standard so far this morning, but I'm also able to take a step back objectively and look at what I've done and go, oh, I'm having fun playing Standard, but I also haven't played against any of the good decks. Like, I've not played against the decks that have been made Standard a slog and a chore to play against. I've been playing against blue-black mutate and stuff like that, right? Like, I'm playing against red aggro. And like, it's okay to enjoy the current Standard format and say, okay, I like my deck against the non-fires decks. But I think it's also healthy and important to realize, oh, I can say that, but still also understand that, like, when I play the deck that is good, when I play against it, I'm not having fun. And so it's okay, and it's even good to enjoy the format from a casual perspective. I'm glad people are able to do that. I would ban Teferi and Agent. I think my personal enjoyment and the enjoyment of many other people would go up if Teferi was not legal in Standard, as well as Agent. If I was given the power to do whatever I wanted, that's what I would do. I actually really like Fires of Invention as a card. I think it's a really sweet build-around type effect. I think there are a lot of really good cards in this format that have counterplay to Fires that make Fires worse. But those cards don't get a chance to be playable because of... They don't get a chance to be playable because Teferi locks out potential counterplay. Yeah, Teferi disables counterplay. That, in my opinion, is the issue. Is the counterplay that gets removed from the format by Teferi. I like Fires as a powerful card that has a real deck building restriction around it. Is it strong? Definitely. But it's a strong card that offers counterplay when Teferi's not present. Yes, yeah, Disdainful Stroke's a good example. Disdainful Stroke is a card that is super reasonable against those decks, but it's borderline unplayable because of how often Teferi's involved. I agree. Disdainful Stroke. I think Disdainful Stroke is one of those cards like Negate that should probably just be evergreen. If Disdainful Stroke was a card that always existed in Standard, I think that would be a net positive. Oh, by the way, was that turn okay? Pretty okay. Yeah, I mean this deck's been a hoot. I've genuinely had fun in this set. But again, in large part of that is because our opponents haven't been playing good decks. Playing my kind of mopey deck against other decks that aren't as powerful as Luca has been fun. Is Stroke not already evergreen? That's fair. It's been around for a while recently. I hope it continues to be around. Do I actually want Questing Beast here to turn off protection from multicolored? That might actually be better than Scorching Dragonfire. Maybe I just want both. This is probably slow. You don't think we're the beatdown here? Yeah, but like this lets me control a little bit better, right? Lets me like kill things with Omnath and stuff. I'll put 2 of them in. See how it feels. I also think if they wanted to ban something and they banned Teferi and Agent, those are cards that are gonna rotate in the fall anyways, so it's not really a big deal in my opinion to rotate those cards a little bit sooner than everything else. But again, I think this is my advice for every format in Magic. If you're not currently enjoying Standard, I would recommend playing Historic or Pioneer or Modern or Draft or whatever else you enjoy instead of sitting, playing Standard, hoping that they're going to ban something. I think hoping that they're going to ban something in Standard is an incredibly unrealistic expectation. I would be incredibly surprised if anything in this format got banned or removed. Alright, so we'll let this resolve. Kill it with fire. New survey. Everybody go take 20 minutes and fill out the Magic survey. And make sure if there's a section where you can tell them about your favorite Magic streamer that you write down your favorite Magic streamer, but then also mention me. It's important that you mention me too. Day 9 is great. I agree. When this mutates, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, or X is the number of times it mutated. That's nifty. If you choose only Magic Arena in the first question, it ends. Well, it must be a survey for paper Magic players then. Historic is not an option for formats that you play. We tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter anymore. So Cavalier died, but we get to Floop Dragonfire on top of our deck to kill this. Oh no, it's a 4/4. Yikes, I knew that. I totally knew that that was a 4/4. Definitely realized what was about to happen.
We will not fail. Rise, my elemental friend.
On your way to the terrible 2/6 of 21 skirts and sheep. Taking this off the table is nice because it means their flash cards can be countered, which is ideal. If they attack with this, I'm going to double block. Hey, thanks to the tip, Griffinson. I appreciate the support. Put this towards Yori and Teamer field deck we talked about. Sounds good. Happy to get that added. Yeah, I suppose we could go land plus Dragonfire. I don't know. Saving Dragonfire for whatever their follow-up here is seems fine, though, too. Bye, friend. Feel free to fix the mana. Sounds good. Will do. I think the common play patterns for Luca is stealing lands and stop the development of my opponent. In my opinion, it's closer to a land destruction, so it's resource denial than a classic go over the top scenario. You're right that its most aggressive draws do that to Monger, but in games where it doesn't have its absolute nut draw, it does go over the top by taking your threats. Agent of Treachery. If you ask me for a good example of a go over the top card, like Agent of Treachery is one of the cards I would probably put in a PowerPoint slide. No questions about content creators? All right. Yeah, I don't need to worry about that one then. I told them I would not go to stores till testing / contact tracing was in full effect and deemed okay by scientists until the vaccines. Yeah, I agree. Looking Blade. For my understanding and listening to people like Fauci talk, those are the one of those two things needs to happen for me to resume something of a normal life. So my opinion of the new fusion and raid, I think it's kind of mediocre. There's a couple of one of the raid content producers I watched. People's usernames. Their name is Murder Inc. on YouTube. Had a video of it. It seemed underwhelming. I think we've been talking about it in the subs Discord. I think I'm just gonna do the Void fusion, the Void epic, and not go for the actual legendary. If we're to add Unburial Rites to Jund Herald, would it be better to fix the? Are there any white cards you would add, or would you just fix the mana solely for Unburial Rites? That's a good question. I feel like it's probably just rights, but I'm not sure. Yeah, that's a good point. Competitive tournament Magic especially, you're expected to have your opponent shuffle your deck. Like, during normal times, coming home from a Magic tournament with some type of plague was normal and expected. Like, that was just par for the course. I could also wail a little bit Flame Burst and fuse Enchantress, plus probably get one from the summoning event. I'm not sure if I want to do that though. I usually don't spend my raid budget on shards. If I get Forest here, I can drop Fiend Artisan. Fiend Artisan's a little bit chunky, right? 5/5. Back in my day, we expected to catch plagues from our card games, right? Yeah, you should never eat your rares or epics, 30 digits. What's a good reason to play Raid? If you're looking for a good time waster game, that's also about numbers. And it's at its core, it's a grindy numbers game. So, as far as this game's concerned, we're kind of looking for like Hydroid Krasis, right? We need a way to really punch through here. Nissa's a decent pickup too, so Nissa could potentially enable us to go wide around what the opponent is doing. We could mutate this onto something as well. Oh, I could put this on Fiend Artisan, right? And fly over the top. I could also Fiend Artisan up something here. I can also just mutate onto a Nissa land. What do I want to Fiend Artisan up? Alright, let's Nissa to start. There's so many choices this turn. Oh, they stay as 3/3s? Oh, because of the set power, right? The way layers work. Whatever that nonsense is. So I have 2, 4, 5. Do I get Omnath or do I just get a second Fiend Artisan? Getting Omnath to kill the Dreadhorde Butcher is probably okay, though. Before he gets out of hand. Yeah, Omnath will turn land drops into card draws, which is nice. We've got, what, 7 lands in play already? Do I have any way to gain life in my 60? I don't think I do, right? Krasis. Yes, Krasis. Okay, good call. I don't think I'm scrying next turn. I think we're probably using King of the Cosmos, and then hopefully we draw a spell or two. That's a good one. So this takes green, blue, blue, right? So let's do this to start and see where we go. L-U. Yep, yep, it has Vigilance too. Correct. Fabled Passage puts 2 counters on this and draws 2 cards. Well, that's how the rules of Magic works, Leecher. The key to not getting the second one of these from your first trigger is we only play one of them. This deck's really sweet when nobody takes my stuff. When nobody steals my permanents, we get to do things. Grow, my child, grow. Only 21. I'm excited for them to untap and kill us. I don't know how that's possible, but I'm sure it's about to happen. They can't have Mayhem Devil at least, because they have Luris. Main deck Active Treason. Oh, I should have. No, Active Treason untaps it anyways. Did we see Act? We saw Claim. Active Treason something we're going to want to be conscious of post-board for sure. Claim's actually really good against Hydroid Krasis too. It's something to keep in mind. It's a Questing Beast matchup just so we can attack past it. Probably. This feels like a Cavalier of Thorns out matchup because it just gets stonewalled. Not a grindy matchup, so Tamiyo could come out. King of the Cosmos, obviously reasonable for what we just saw there. I think I leave this in spite of the risk associated with it. What are our last couple trims here? Do I want to, like, trim some Omnath? Maybe Krasis is just too much of a liability with Claim the Firstborn. I could see that. Try getting the curve down. I could trim that, but the blocker's probably good. Let's try this. So the problem with Tristani is Tristani only gives you your creatures back. So when the Agent of Treacheries opt to Stone Rain you or take your Planeswalkers instead of your creatures, you're left there with a Tristani you can't cast or one that doesn't do anything. So no, I don't think a Selesnya mid-range deck or something leveraging Tristani is particularly good. And again, just to temper expectations, like what we've currently experienced so far in this set is we've not played against any Jeskai Luca, right? And that was the same for the Knights deck before this too, right? When we're not playing against the deck that's really good, our decks that are potentially mediocre seem fine. It's important to be able to look at your testing, not even your test, it's not even really testing, your gameplay, and think about what happened and why you're getting the results you're getting, right? So if you're interested in taking a deck like this and seeing, is it reasonable, you need to take this deck, you need to slam it into Luca and see, yeah, like, among the decks that get beat up by Luca, we're doing well. And that's fine, you know? If you're okay with that being what you're doing, like, it's not a big deal. We are the Garbage King. Yep. Well, that's just rude. That's just rude. What is Luca? Luca is the 5-mana Planeswalker that headlined the Jeskai Luca deck. It is an archetype that's capable of, on turn 5, putting Agent of Treachery into play and then blinking it and taking 2 of your things. Opponent playing around Scorching Dragonfire here really well. Not my bits. Okay, with this straw, I think we're cycling the Triome. Opponents beat up our interaction here really well. I personally don't have access to objective data to say anything about the power level of Luca from a pure power level perspective. I think from a personal enjoyment perspective, playing against the Jeskai Luca deck is a miserable experience, and when it's a common matchup that I have to play, it makes me not want to play the format. Thanks for the 10 months, R-Large. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Better late than never. But I'm a math guy. I'm a numbers guy. If you want to try and get me to tell you something from an objective standpoint, I'm going to tell you when I don't have the information to do that, and I just don't. And again, that's part of why Wizards hides data and keeps it to themselves and tries to shut people down that are providing data, because if people can't provide objective arguments, it's harder for them to encourage people to come to their side. It's harder. It's, you know, when everybody's just like, oh, but my feelings, if it's all just feels, none of it's real. Is it going to pollute Historic? I don't think so. There's a couple of reasons why I think the Luca deck won't be as good in Historic. The first is that there's good aggro and combo decks, and the reason why there's good aggro and combo decks is because they have better mana in Historic. There's also better tools, like a wider range of better 1-drops. Taking the reinforcements might make aggro a touch too slow. Maybe, we'll see. We'll see. That's rude. I'm gonna eat my orphan, chat. Yeah, Winota does a lot to punish decks that are trying to be a little greedy and slow. That is definitely accurate. These are my blockers. There are many like them, but these ones are mine. While I gaze upon this hideous bordered Arboreal Grazer here, I am grateful for my borderless Arboreal Grazer that Hurley Burley Studios sent me. Isn't it purty, chat? Isn't it lovely? Hurley providing things that Magic Arena refuses to give me. It's a pretty good top deck. Pretty good top deck. 1 per 3 minutes, dirty digits, when you're under your maximum. I think we're gonna die, chat. I think we're gonna die. Yeah, it's not bad at all. It means once you're past your initial burst, you get like 4 or 5 energy refills a day, basically, for free. Yeah, the fact that all standard staples don't have a borderless option is a real big miss, as we've talked about. Thanks, Reyes. I appreciate the support. I guess I should technically kill this one because it's slightly bigger. I'm gonna take 1 here, down to 5. Oh, they're just gonna bring it back. Yeah, we're super dead. We're dead regardless of what we blocked there. Yeah, I don't really know what I want to cut. The drill bits, things lined up really well there for the opponent. They had the Shatter for our Cage. They had drill bits for some of our more powerful payoffs. And then, you know, one of the downsides of ramp decks like this are they have a lot of mana in them, right? So you flood out once they take away a couple of your key cards. All right. Hand's got a plan. We'll see if it survives contact with the enemy, but It's at least got a plan. Need to draw some lands. That's definitely true. If we hit a land if we hit a land like the next 2 to 3 turns, we're gonna be in a very good spot. Grab another forest here for sure, since we've got Nissa to ramp up with. Easy block on the Dreadhorde Butcher. Take one from the Scorpion. This is my 0-3. There aren't many like it, but this one is mine. Grazer is very, very good against Butcher. Big agree. Big agree. Are you going to bake my Leafkin in the oven? Smells like it. Feels bad, man. This is one of the problems with Grazer as a card. Like, while it's definitely powerful when you have it on turn 1, it's not a card that makes mana on its own. So in situations like this one, where we have extra Grazers but we don't have more lands, they're not actually acceleration. They're just kind of slowing us down. Alright, are they going to come after my bits here again? Alright, at least my bits are safe, chat. At least my bits are safe. That's a good question. When you bake Leafkin in the witch's oven, is it vegan friendly? What do we think? Judge? Can I get a flavor judge ruling? It has a face, so it isn't vegan friendly. That's probably the accurate take. I feel like that's probably a good ruling. Could make a gnarly pie. Yeah, this is you probably get splinters eating a Leafkin Druid pie, huh? Yeah, their last card's probably Rick's Maddie again. I'm Scorching Dragonfiring the Butcher here because if I killed this Butcher in combat, they could sack the other Butcher to kill my Orphanguard, which I'd prefer not happen. This is just Rick's Maddie here. Together we will prevail. Rise, my elemental friend. How do people feel about how WotC's been handling the daily deals on Arena? Do we like that they've basically turned them into a login bonus most days? Or would we prefer they just gave us an actual factual login bonus? Woober, thanks for the 19 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So, like, for people that have played other free-to-play games, like the raid game that I play, you get a login. Whenever you log in each day, they give you a free thing. And I kind of feel like, hey, Chase, thanks for keeping your sub up. I kind of feel like I'd rather just have an actual login bonus. It feels like it's a half attempt at that. Like, I think the daily deals in general are good. I think the giving you random things for free in them, as opposed to just like having a login bonus, would be preferred. Your login bonuses are quests. No, those are dailies. Those are different. So a lot of free-to-play games have both a login thing, a login gift, and a quest-based thing that requires you to actually take game actions. They're different. Getting our Hydroid Krasis Crocs in there felt real bad. Yeah, what they're doing is definitely encouraging people to check deals, which is accurate. I agree with that. That sentiment is what they're doing. And again, my commentary isn't on, are the daily deals good? Having discounts, I think, is objectively good and smart. My comment here is talking specifically about them utilizing daily deals as a form of login bonus by putting random things in there like spend 50 gold, get 500 gold. That's effectively what they're doing with it. Thanks for the 38 months, Bulletproof Boat. That's actually the deal for today, sure. Okay, so now they could kill my Orphanguard, but I think I'm okay with that. I think we just need to beat them down. Not really catch-up fights, because like the free shard in Raid isn't on a page with deals on it. It's on a page where the price is always the same, if that makes sense. Was Knights was actually fine. I'm gonna play Knights in the MCQ on Saturday. I mean, the MCQ is a free roll, and it's an async tournament, so, like, I don't have to, like, wait for rounds. If the MCQ on Saturday was a traditional Magic tournament with Swiss rounds, there is a 0% chance I would be playing it. But because it's a tournament, I didn't swing with the Grazers, so they're going to kill my Orphanguard. But because it's a tournament with 0 entry fee that I also don't have to wait for matches to happen. I can just like go until we win or lose. So Saturday stream is we're gonna do, my schedule that far isn't posted that far out yet, but we're gonna do the MCQ first thing in the morning, and then we're gonna do a couple of donation decks, and then I took a sponsored segment. There's a single player card game type thing, roguelite called Griftlands, that asked me if I was interested in doing a sponsored segment, and Nox and Kibler both had, and Day 9 too had good things to say about it. So I'm going to be doing some segments with them over next weekend. Yeah, it's like a deck building, roguelite, etc. I watch some of the other people I watch on occasion play it. They asked me if I was interested in doing a segment. It seemed neat. Yeah, it's the same genre as Slay the Spire. I think I'd rather just keep making Nissa lands here rather than alting her. Maybe I'll ult her next turn. I mean, to be fair, half quarter, there are, Wizards pays a number of content creators to, like, play their game. Like, people like, Savitz and, Show, and some other folks like that. Like, they often have sponsored in their stream title on playing Magic. To Cryptarians, so they're going, to their credit, Wizards of the Coast manages advertising on Twitch fairly well. In my opinion, the only thing Wizards of the Coast should be doing better in terms of advertising on Twitch is they should be leveraging Twitch drops when they don't. The fact that Wizards doesn't do Twitch drops, I think, is the biggest miss as far as their use of Twitch. I think in general, they do a good job of using Twitch to advertise their product.
When the land speaks, I shall listen.
Grafdigger's Cage doing a good job hosing our opponent this game. Yeah, that's how targeted advertising works, Dwight. You pay people who have an audience that are interested in things like your thing to see if they also like your thing. That's why most of the sponsored segments I end up doing are for strategy games, like things like Griftlands. How much mana do we have? Yes, plenty. We could have killed ourselves. You're right. We could have shocked 7 times. Yeah, a lot of people, like, Magic's the OG card game, right? Like, a lot of people who are into card games have played Magic at some point. Yeah, and that's great to hear, Ketsu. Like I said, I think those are good uses of their advertising dollars. This cage just, like, single-handedly won us this game. Just, like, didn't have their shatter for it, and it took over. Yeah, I do want an upkeep stop in case I don't scry something good to the top here. It's a good call. Here's a question. How big do I Krasis for next turn if I draw Krasis? What's the number? I don't want to die to claim the Firstborn, chat. I don't want to die to claim the Firstborn. Alright, I'm gonna do one more of this. Almost up to plat 1. Kind of hoping to hit Jeskai Luca so we can see how our deck does against the good deck in the format. We've had a good time so far, but we've mostly played against other tier 2 brews, so. Magic's a lot of fun when it's all brew versus brew, but as far as, like, can this deck, you know, go toe-to-toe with the other things that are good in the format, we haven't really found the answer to that question yet. Alright, here's a Yorion. So let's see if they're Jeskai. Doesn't look like Jeskai could be Bant control. That is an excellent draw for this hand. Was wanting a 2-drop. You have 10 days to get out of gold this season because I've not played yet. You'll have plenty with Historic. Mardu Knights was playable. I'm gonna play Mardu Knights on Saturday in the MCQ tournament. We'll either O2 very quickly or we'll win games very quickly. Oh yeah, they made gold easier to climb through too, right? I forgot about that. Alright, so do I give this Cheeto Fingers to prevent them from drawing more cards with it? Or do I just get Risen Reef down? I feel like I'm just supposed to Cheeto Fingers this. Changes I'll make tonight. Maybe some stuff in the sideboard. I'll have the deck list on screen. I feel like I'm just supposed to Cheeto Fingers this. You only have to get to Plat 4 for all the card style rewards, right? Diamond, and Mythic don't give extra card style rewards. They're just an extra booster pack.
Beauty lies in variation.
Beauty lies in variation. Telling us the secret of Standard there. Yeah, the rewards for playing on the arena ladder are pretty minimalistic overall. You'll get like a booster pack per rank you climb up, and then you get to play in a tournament where you have to go 10-1 to get anything of any value. And like going 10-1 in a Magic tournament's a pretty incredibly high variance proposition. Yeah, but like, what does playing the Grazer do, the freak? Why would I want to put Grazer into play sooner? I didn't actually have a land to put into play.
Things are about to get out of hand for you.
Vivian down tick, get Risen Reef when you cast Omnath. Pretty sweet. Yeah, what is it? I think going 7-1 in the Hoots tournament gets you more prizes than going 9-2 in the MCQ event that you have to get top 30, top 1200 of Mythic to qualify for. I'm pretty sure that's accurate, right? Is it 7-2? What's the record to get $25 store credit? Let me pull up my Melee page. I don't remember. Yeah, seven match wins gets you $25 in store credit in the Hoots tournament. And yeah, and you don't have to grind up the ladder to play it. Alright, I think we do this. I haven't played a land yet for the turn, right? So I'm gonna wait and play this from my hand. Both of those just came out. I think I'm going to start powering them up still. Oh, you know what? I should probably wait to fetch this until after I have more lands. So that way I could draw a card with it. It's probably the better play. Yeah, trying to get to a point where we survive Cheeto Finger Blinks. You think they could be playing Storm's Wrath in their Risen Reef creature deck? I don't know if they're playing Storm's Wrath in their deck. More power to them. They can have it. The more the hairier. So here's Yorion. Wonder if we're going to see them fetch like another Risen Reef and then draw infinite cards here. So they could like put a second Reef into play, draw 2. Yeah, and then blink all 3 of these, draw 6 at end of turn. Hey, Kirkham. Thank you for the quarter of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Sure, sending your Prime back this way again. Man, their hand is about to be super full. Again, trying to play mid-rangey ramp decks in this mid-range ramp control. Any of the decks in the middle of this format without Yorion feels like a tough ask. Yorion's just like king of the value propositions. Our companion just like made our thing slightly bigger for a turn. Their companion drew 6 cards and is a 4/5 flyer. We're gonna get to load our hand up next turn again too, though. We have Cavalier of Thorns here, which is gonna draw 2 from Risen Reef, and then our next land starts drawing cards with Omnath. Thanks for the 45 months, Andrew. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Are we dead? Why are we dead? Like we're gonna do something similar to them next turn. Not quite to that extreme, but like Tamiyo gets to pick stuff back up too. There's the 3rd Risen Reef in our bin. Like next turn I have 11 mana, so I can go Tamiyo, pick up Risen Reef, play Risen Reef, play Cavalier of Thorns with just 1 more land. Okay, yeah. So I get to do this. Then I get to grab this back. And like, I'm about to draw 7 cards. They have Uro. We do not have an Uro at the moment. Ooh. King of the Cosmos. King of the Cosmos. King of the Cosmos. I'm going to stack a bunch of counters. Actually, I think I'm going to stack a bunch of counters on this Risen Reef, and then we'll put King of the Cosmos onto it. It's probably what will happen. I think that's the plan. Pump up, the bump up, the wump up, the jam. Do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do. And for those that haven't been keeping up in Standard, greed, for a lack of a better term, is good. We're more likely to deck than they are. Ain't that the gospel truth? We're more likely to deck than they are. It's funny. It's funny because it's true. Late stage Standard. That's a good one, Jack-In. And again, here, seeing, you know, one of the real strengths of being the Yorion deck and getting to leverage Agent of Treachery here is a big deal. Agent's just the biggest thing you can be doing in this Standard format. Yeah, I'm just going to be done with this match. So, our deck is not capable of getting under what this opponent is doing. We are not aggressive enough, and Agent of Treachery just goes really far over the top of anything we're able to put together there. I think we genuinely had a lot of fun games with this deck, but the fun games that we had were explicitly not against Yorion decks. These non-Yorion, non-aggro decks don't feel like they're competitive against these Yorion Agent decks of any iteration. It doesn't matter if they're Yorion Agent Elementals or Yorion Agent Luca that gets into play extra fast. Agent of Treachery, just these big board state games just end to whoever has more agents. You just get run down. So, All right, we are going to pivot formats for the remainder of the day. We're going to still stick on Magic Arena, though. We've got some Jeskai Tempo featuring Luris coming up next here in Historic. I'm going to hit a quick ad roll. I get everything set up and flipped over. We'll be back in just a few minutes with this sweet one. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere. Thanks so much for 27 months, Lurking Blade. Welcome back.